Many blessings to everyone. I hope that everyone is doing really well, and I'm excited to connect with you. Lune and I just released our first discussion for our second season at the Emerald Paradigm. And I want to start there and mention that because as soon as we released that, I had quite a number of subscribers come from the Emerald Paradigm to this channel, and so I'm grateful for that. Thank you for your support. And you know what? I was inspired today to make a connection because there's something that I've been observing that I felt that it was important to share. It is a tool that's so important as we're on the spiritual path, when we are anchored on the spiritual path. It's something that I also teach when I do the shamanic apprenticeships. And it's on the subject of observation and the importance of learning, of mastering how to observe versus getting engaged. And, you know, maybe Luna and I have touched on this subject, but I have two little strings with me today that I'm going to introduce as incredible, powerful exercises, ritualistic practices that can really help you to achieve a disconnection, a release from what we're going to talk about. And so observation, you know, what does that really mean? Well, it means that we take the stance of the shamanic stance of taking a step back. And why that becomes really important is because, you know what, when we take a step back, we actually have a vantage point in any view of viewing a situation, something that's taken place. But if we are in the midst of it, you know, sort of in the center of it, we don't have the same vantage point. And that's very important because we experience a lot of this in situations, disagreements, stances, opinions that people take that, believe it or not, become very big in a energetic field. And it's difficult because where do we draw the line between saying that we have a voice, that we were born with the ability to be able to express ourselves, to share, which is so very true, and when do we step out of that state to then start feeling a field that is creating separation, you know? And it's hard to decipher. There is never a right or wrong, and you know, there is no scripture that says that we need to follow this in order to get here or there, or at least in the spiritual realm, that I actually, you know, share. I'm sure that there's writing somewhere else, but anyway, as we're becoming deeper and deeper into our spiritual selves, into that core, you know, it's important not to take sides that may create separation. And we need to be discerning in knowing that, you know, we're just expressing something, and where that expression could then become a field for others to jump in and to start disagreeing and making derogatory comments and, you know, pointing the finger and creating separation, you know. And so I find that many spiritual ascended ones are very discerning about talking, you know, getting engaged in certain subjects, politics, religion, and even other commentaries that may inflame a group And it's not because you can't speak your truth. Again, it's a matter of discernment to know that a statement can then create a field for people to jump in and to start creating a lot of disarray, and negative, lower vibrational energy. And so I always share that we should be very discerning. So what happens when we do have something to say, or when we feel that something is really disturbing us? Are we saying that we shouldn't express it? No, we should express it. We should use tools such as journal writing, pardon letters, which I've spoken about in the past, in the Emerald Paradigm and in every one of my books. Maybe have a conversation, but if it's something bigger than that, or something, an issue that we find ourselves with difficulty in sharing, and yet it's still bothering us, then this beautiful string, and it could be a string, it could be a ribbon, anything that's flexible, can really help. And how it can help is we could sit almost like we would with a mandala, or even a rosary, and we can start to, after taking an inhale of breath and an exhale, so that we can center ourselves and be open to receiving that high octave life force energy. And our exhale is our release, to the best of our ability, to release some of that heaviness or debris. We can sit with a string or twine or ribbon and not be afraid to start bringing issues, thoughts, feelings that are heavy or that are disturbing us. And as we take a few moments to contemplate on what those feelings are, or what the situations are, every time that you identify one, you create a knot. And as you create that knot, you use your breath to blow the situation, to blow the energy away. And so as an example, I could be upset at a certain individual, angry. I feel upset and angry at them, but I want to let that go. And so it really doesn't matter where the knot ends in this string or twine. And we could do this as many times as we need to. We're feeling anxious, we're feeling confused, and we can go into this state for as long or as little as we need to, but once we get into this rhythm, into this state, we can stay here, believe it or not, as long as we feel inspired to release as much as we need to. There's an amazing sense of release, that comes as we share our burdens, our blockages with a piece of string or twine or a ribbon. But what's even more transformational is that as we're doing this exercise, you may find yourself experiencing a lot of emotion, and it's really important to allow that emotion to surface and to flow and move through you. You may need to stop at some point, but encouraged to come back and to do this for as long as you need to, but 15 to 30 minutes would be a great time. And then what I lovingly suggest that we do is that once we're done, again, that we take a beautiful inhalation of prana, that we exhale and experience the new energy, the release, the emptiness, the lightness that you are definitely going to experience after releasing a lot of those feelings and those blockages in this ritual. And then you can take this string and be very cautious, of course, but place it in a safe container and burn it. And as you do, offer it to the life force, offer it to the angels, offer it to a deity that, or an archangel that you're connected to, or simply to the universe, and allow the element of fire to transmute and to release whatever emotional blockages you released in this process. Yes? And then there are other times when we feel like we have a very deep connection, or umbilical cord, like I like to call it, with someone or something that we recognize is not conducive to our highest good. Maybe a toxic relationship, or a toxic compulsive behavior, or a situation, and no matter how hard we try, we find ourselves, coming back to this, and we don't know how to release it, sought out help and gone to therapy, and maybe we've gone to see a healer, or maybe we haven't, But again, I'm a strong advocate and teacher of rituals, because when we conduct a ritual, we're setting a very deep intention, and rituals are the tools by which we release those intentions to the universe, and they're almost like conductors. They help us to not only establish an intention, but to also put it into motion. And so I often find that when we have attachments, when we feel an attachment, an unhealthy attachment to a person, it doesn't matter, person, place, or thing, a situation, feeling, that we can take a string as well. Believe it or not, for attachments, I like to use ribbon, but I didn't have one, and I was really inspired to just share this video. But we can take a string, and what you want to do is, the length of it overall doesn't matter, but what you want to do to the best of your ability, and it's not a sin if you don't, but to try to even the length, okay? And what you want to do at this point is that you want to take a few moments to thank the situation, believe it or not, the situation, the person, the feeling, for however burdensome it may feel, or it has been, because if we were experiencing it, it was because it was offering something to us, and that's not always easy to dissect right away, or to see, or to accept. But everything that comes into our lives is there for a reason, and it's not for punishment, but most of the time to help us grow and to expand and to master forgiveness, to master perseverance, to recognize your strength, to empower yourself. It doesn't always feel that way, of course, because we have an attachment, we have an expectation, or perhaps we have a codependency. We haven't learned how to love ourselves enough, so we feel that, we can't live without this person or this situation, and it's very unhealthy. And so what we want to do is we want to take a moment to, and again, we could really take more than a moment, as long as we need to shower that person or experience or feeling with gratitude, with blessings, and with forgiveness and release. It may take us a little while to get to this point. You do not want to rush through this ritual, and what you want to do is to really be authentic, and so I really invite you to get to this point of trying to release and to express gratitude as long as you have to until you can authentically feel it in your heart. And then once you do, you can call upon your guardian, your guide, your archangel, and if it's a person that you're releasing, you can call upon their angel and ask for permission. Send them your love. Tell them that you're grateful, that you're thankful. And at this point, you want to say that you no longer wish to have an unhealthy attachment. And when you feel ready, and again, it's very important that you send love, that you take a scissor and you take a breath and you allow the universe and the energies and the souls to allow this release of an umbilical cord that has been unhealthy. Yes? Many people say like, oh, cord cutting, are we hurting someone, or are we sending some kind of low vibrational energy to the situation? And the answer is absolutely not, as long as your heart is in the right place. And of course, we need to do this from a place of love, of unconditional love, of wanting to release, of sending healing light, of being grateful. If we're not vibrating from that space, then I, of course, do not recommend this beautiful ritual, because any ritual that we conduct has a cause and effect. And so I cannot stress enough that this can be very helpful in enriching our lives with love, light, and peace, lightness, when we are vibrating accordingly with that beautiful energy. Even if we're in pain, or even if we're sad, to still be able to bring up that heart energy, an unconditional healing to the situation, being grateful for it. And of course, you can keep one part of the string, which is yours, and you can keep it as a momentum. You could put it on your altar, and the individual or the situation again can be placed in a safe container, or you can take it to Mother Earth. Again, this doesn't actually represent the person, so we're not hurting them in any way. It is the attachment, the energetic attachment that was not healthy or conducive. And so we should discard it in a beautiful way, sending it out to the ocean, or letting the element of fire to transmute the energy, in whatever way we need to discard it that makes us feel good. And again, it is intention that creates the power behind these amazing ritualistic practices that can be so very helpful. I would really invite you to experiment, to explore them. They're very powerful. I would love to hear comments, especially with any one of them, or if you've been inspired to practice and to implement both of them. I would love to hear how the feeling that you felt afterwards. Yes? And so I will be back to share loving the other subjects, but today, as I said, it was really brought to light that the importance of being the observer, and knowing that if we engage in something, in a cause, in anything, it should be from a place of light, especially if that is what we want to experience, and that's what we're being called to hold, to feel for, and to be mindful that even when we're expressing our expressive opinion, that we can actually inflame the situation and promote separation by presenting the subject in social media, and knowing that it's going to inflame and create separation or opinions. Yes? I know that that is going to find home somehow, some way to some of you, hopefully to most of you. And thank you so much for your support, love, and light. And I'm very excited. So, of course, we're just about a week away here in Staten Island, New York, from the Autumn Holistic Expo. I know that you guys watch from all over the world, but if you happen to be in the tri-state area and you want to join us, we're having an amazing event on September 16th, which is just about a week away. 50 plus light workers on the floor, and I will be there offering, of course, my books and doing a beautiful workshop lecture on the Akashic Records, which I'm looking forward to that, and just spreading some love, light, and peace. And so, anyway, I will be back, and until then, always leave you with my love, with my light, and with my peace. Love you guys. Bye-bye.